Hi guys. So this is going to be a video detailing the 4 different types of radiation and basically why the heck I told you to do what I told you to do in the How to Survive a Nuclear Attack video. Think of this as the thinking man's version. So there you go. As a real quick recap, what I told you to do was to create a safe zone inside of your house, to hole yourself up inside that safe zone for at least 7 to 10 days, and to cover all cracks and crevices with duct tape, including all doors and windows and any opening from the outside coming in, and any windows or anything that is clear, to cover it with aluminum foil, to do 2 things. One is to help put some level of protection against radiation over your windows, and most importantly to block the flash and deflect the flash as much as possible. And then I also told you to cover that entire area that you duct taped, the door or window, to cover it with plastic sheeting, much like you would if you were weatherproofing your home for the winter and you only had single pane windows. So that's pretty much what you're going to do. Understand that you will not have much time to do this, so you're going to have to get it done, and you're going to have to get it done quick. I would recommend having each person in your family have a certain sector to do that, and they all have their supplies where they need them to be, and to where it's okay, we got the warning, boom, we're ducking our house. I mean, it's that quick. So that's what I would recommend. While you're in there, do not use any water, do not use any gas, do not bring anything from the outside in, do not go outside. Pretty much that covers it. Take potassium iodide tablets, and pretty much the rest of it you can get from the video. That's just the real quick recap. Now then, here is the how and why I say what I did. Because it's difficult to say that, especially in today's society, without actually telling people why you're telling them to do X, Y, Z. So, once again, as a quick review, there are 4 types of radiation. There is alpha, beta, gamma, and particulate. Now, in recent times, and they've changed this within the past 10 years, they've now started to call particulate neutron. It does the same thing. It's the same. The radiation did not change. It's the same. It's just they call it a different name now. So, for us to understand the dangers of the radiation, we have to understand quite a few things. One of them is exposure time. The longer your time of exposure, the more lethal the radiation is. Here in America, we use a REM and RAD scale. There are other scales out there. Pretty much the only way that you're going to be able to tell what scale you're at is if you have a dosimeter on. And honestly, I don't know many people that have dosimeters, so that really won't help you much. So here is what will help you and why I told you what I told you. And this is called the famous cookie model. Okay? Well, I don't have a cookie, so I'm going to substitute a cookie with this rock. Okay? I'm going to put this rock right in my hand. Okay? Now, let's imagine that this cookie, or rock, but cookie, is alpha radiation. Okay, so it's a rock or a cookie that is covered in alpha radiation. I can set it in my hand. I have no worries. I can eat this cookie, and provided that there is no direct contact to my bloodstream, I'll be fine. Okay? Alpha is at worst, with a lot of it, it might make me have a little bit of a pukey sensation. That's about it. Now, beta radiation. This has gone up the scale. Okay? This is now beta radiation. I do not want to eat this, because if I eat it, I will become irradiated and get violently ill. Possible death, but most likely not. Probably medium to violently ill for a day or two. It will be somewhat similar to a flu bug. Okay? That's if I eat it. Outside of that, I can have it in my hand, and as long as it does not find a break in my skin to get into my bloodstream, I'll be okay. That's beta radiation. Gamma radiation. If this is gamma radiation, it has shot through my hand in much the way that a laser shoots through many other things. Okay? So if it's gamma, think of it as like a laser. It travels in a straight line, it goes fast, it just okay, there you have it. Alright? The flash from a nuclear bomb detonating is gamma radiation. That's why it has the flash. That's why there is the light. That's why it is so powerful, and that's why it does what it does. Okay? The great thing about gamma, though, is once it's through you, it's already done all its damage that it's going to do. So it's kind of like a bullet. After a bullet has already gone through your body, that bullet has done all the damage it's going to do. There'll be complications from your body reacting to the effects of said bullet, but the bullet itself has done all its damage. And so think of gamma in that way. Now then, here comes the most deadly version. Not to say that gamma is not deadly, but yeah. The most deadly form of radiation that is out there is particulate or neutron. And here's why I say that. If this is neutron or particulate radiation, it's not just that radiation is radiating from it. It's not just the fact that there will be all that radiation created in a cloud. And it's not just that it's a fine dust that can be breathed in, that is airborne. And it's not just that if it's sitting in my hand, it's turning my hand into liquid crap, is the nice way of putting it. But it also is changing all the molecules of the air and everything else around it and irradiating them so that they too become irradiated, and it keeps on growing. Think of it as kind of like an outbreak, whereas one infected infects others and infects others, and on and on and on until it stops. When does it stop? Well, it stops from the amount of distance that we're talking. Over time it does dissipate, but because it can't completely replicate itself at full strength, but it does replicate itself in that way, and it does affect and irradiate other things around it. So why did I tell you not to bring water in your house? Why did I tell you not to use your faucets? Why did I tell you not to use the gas in your stove? The reason why I told you not to do that is because if radiation finds its way into the gas plant where your gas is being supplied from, and it finds itself on top of that pipe that's coming through. Now it's changing the chemical structure of that pipe, irradiating that pipe. What's inside that pipe is the gas. And now it's starting to irradiate that gas as it's being used. Okay? Now you have to understand that it's not just the gas plant. It's not just the pipe. It's the entire length of the pipe from the gas station to your house. And not only that, it's the entire length of pipe from the gas station to your house, to your neighbor's house, or however else is designed for your specific flow of gas, of natural gas. And now you have all kinds of issues, because it's not just one small area that's affected, it's your entire block. And that's why I'm telling you not to use your gas. Electricity is different. That's the only reason why electricity is okay, sort of. Basically the idea is if it irradiates the wires, what moves along the wires is simply the electrons. It is not the full atom itself. And basically how electricity moves is it's just one electron bumping into another one and being traded off, more or less. So that's why electricity is more or less safe, provided it's still functioning. Most likely it will not, due to electromagnetic pulse, also known as EMP. Alright, so what's the problem with EMP? EMP, basically what it does is anything that is electronic, that is turned on, that is not in a Faraday cage, just got fried. Thank you. So that is a issue. So that is the reason why EMP happens, is because of the amount of radiation that is dispersed from the blast, and from the gamma radiation has sent out a whole bunch of electromagnetic waves, and it reacts with everything that's metal. And what's metal inside your computer? Oh yeah, that's right, contacts and wires. And so basically what it'll do is, if your computer is turned on when that happens, it will turn your computer into a big pile of goo, essentially, as far as the insides are concerned. It is irreparable. You cannot fix it. You cannot do anything with it. Pretty much the only thing that you can do with that laptop is use it for a shotgun target. That's basically where you're at. I mentioned a Faraday cage. What a Faraday cage is it's basically a box, a metal box. And there has to be an insulative barrier between the electronic component and the sides of the box. But basically what happens is that electromagnetic wave that gets pushed from the blast will wash across that box, and basically the box basically shields the electronic component inside of it to keep it from frying. If it does not have a Faraday cage, or it does not have anything like that, yeah, your electronics will be fried. Hence why I said most likely your electrical plant will go down. So, because it's going to fry all the generators and just about everything in there. So, if you are lucky enough to have electricity, count yourself very lucky, but do not expect to have it. So, that's pretty much why I told you what I told you. I would recommend, For cooking, definitely learn how to use and make a alcohol stove. Learn how to have things on hand that may or may not require cooking. There's all kinds of canned stuffs and stuff like that that you can get, but that's pretty much what you're going to be wanting to have. So the last thing that I want to get across is that you have to understand that from a nuclear blast, much of the radiation is consumed in the blast. With your more modern nuclear weapons, with the old ones that were so-called dirty bombs, they were not. So that's kind of the defining difference is, with a dirty bomb, that area that is affected, you would expect plant life and wildlife to not return to that area for anywhere from 20 to 30 years. With a modern nuclear device, it would be anywhere from 5 to 10. That's kind of what you're looking at. It also depends on the size and yield and all that stuff, but that's basically what you're looking at. Also understand that if that area that is affected, anything that's green that is a plant, is drawing moisture and drawing water from the ground, which is now irradiated. So that means that the water that the plant is drawing and the nutrients that the plant is drawing into itself is irradiated, thereby making the plant irradiated, thereby making its food irradiated. See the problem? So if I have a corn stalk that's got 10 ears of corn on it, but I had a nuclear bomb go off, and 15 days later I go to that corn stalk and I harvest that corn will be irradiated because that corn stalk drew its nutrients from the ground that was irradiated. That's why I'm telling you not to eat anything green. The reason why I'm telling you not to, that cows most likely will be irradiated, is because the larger something is, the more difficult it is for it to be fully irradiated. However, if it is irradiated, that radiation will not disperse, and it cannot disperse. So, unless that thing dies. So that's why I also told you not to eat anything that you did not kill yourself. Okay, that's the other thing. Reason why I'm telling you to eat small things, like squirrels and such, because if they have been irradiated to the point where it would be dangerous for you, they have already died. Another reason why I'm telling you to do that, to only eat what you kill. The best thing that you can do is move on to a radiation-free zone. That will be your main purpose in life, is to get out of that area. But you want to do that when it is safe to do so. So, hope that clarifies things for you. So this was kind of well, I guess if you want to call it the advanced class of how to survive a nuclear attack. If there's any more questions, I am more than happy to help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. So, thanks, guys.
I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your time. Defend your homes wisely.